Hey, what's up guys? Kimberly Spartan Race is tomorrow. So what I'm going to be doing today in this video is I'm going to be showing you guys some of the prep for Spartan Race the day before. So what types of things can you do the day before? What types of things do I like to do the day before? I'm going to take you through that. So it's about 6:40 a.m. on the Thursday prior to the Kimberly Spartan Race. The main thing that I tried to focus on last night, just in getting ready and this week, is that I'm trying to get at least a full 8 hours of sleep every night this week. It didn't happen, but I tried as best as I could, and I just wanted to make that effort because the training, the nutrition, and the sleep and the recovery are the big things, and especially this week prior to a race, the sleep and the recovery are massive. We want to make sure that we're well recovered and ready to go into the day of the race. So first thing in the morning, first thing that I'm doing, that I'm starting out with, is just making sure I'm nice and hydrated. So all it is water with a little bit of lime juice and sea salt. So step one, hydration station. All right, so now it's about 7 a.m. I'm gonna do a little bit of movement. You don't really want to train the day before a race. It's probably not the best decision, especially if it's gonna make you sore or anything like that. But I have a desk job. I probably, and what we're doing right now for work, I'm mainly just gonna be sitting at a desk. I have a meeting all afternoon, I have a couple clients, so I'll get to move around a little bit, but I'm pretty much just gonna be sitting all day. So I just wanna get moving a little bit. While I'm doing that, of course, I'm watching the Buttery Bros on YouTube, because they're awesome. So what I'm gonna be doing is just swinging around a little bit. I'm gonna come up onto the rings. I'll just kind of swing back and forth and loosen up, hang for a little bit. Might even go on the inversion board, let the back decompress. So nothing crazy, just kind of swinging around, get the shoulders nice and loose, get some movement, and then with that, I'll pair it with the ski erg. So again, not super intense, but I'll probably do, I don't know, maybe 500 meters, swing around, 500 meters, swing around, 500 meters, swing around, and then, I don't know, maybe some stretching. Might hop around on the rebounder, something like that, just to get moving, and yeah.
What you saying, Tia? What you saying, girl? Pop the top? Pop the top. That's right. I'm losing count. I'll just go. I'm pretty sure that's like 45. Oh, bro. When you win this year, you'll know why. Let's go. Where's your weakest muscle? Drop to that. Yeah, buddy.
When it comes to the week of the race, you don't want to do anything new. So for breakfast, just sticking to the classics, things that I know agree with me, things that are gonna help prepare me for the race, that I know are gonna satisfy me, keep me full, keep me cruising. But the thing that I'm trying to pay attention to the most, especially this week prior to the race, make sure I get adequate fat, but I'm really trying to make sure I get enough protein and enough carbohydrates. I want to make sure that my muscles are nice and recovered, and I want to make sure I have the carbohydrates and start to get comfortable with that, get my gut used to it, get my digestive tract used to it, so that on race day, I know I can have enough to get me through the race, to have me nice and sustained, and to get that muscle glycogen popping. So this morning, nothing too crazy. I'm having for breakfast, having some nice eggs, some sprouted bread. That's probably it. I'm not a big morning eater. Honestly, I would be totally okay just not eating in the morning times. But I want to make sure that I get enough food in. I got a day of work ahead of me. So this is what I'm having for breakfast. The other thing is supplements. So what I'm taking day before, kind of the classics, vitamin B12, just because I don't really eat meat, every once in a blue moon, but basically no meat. Taking a vitamin D K2 from Thorn, and then what I'll be making sure that I drink during the day here is this Vegas Sport electrolyte hydrator. Now the hydrator, that's also what I'm going to be having on race day, but that's for tomorrow. tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. All right, other thing that I'm gonna be having is right here, I have my creatine. So creatine's gonna be going in that. So those two are gonna make a little mix. This morning, I'm gonna be having my B12, my vitamin D K2. And then also during the day, I'm gonna be having a protein shake. Which one do I want? We'll go with the salted maca caramel. Put that in there. I'll show you guys how I put that together. And then I might actually have some green tea today too. I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. I usually have some sort of tea in the afternoon while I'm at work, just while I'm at my desk. Today I'm in a meeting for like 3 hours in the afternoon. So I might need something to just kind of keep me awake and keep me grooving. So that might go in there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So supplement wise, I'm like not a lot, just sort of like the basic. Day before race day, meal 1, nothing too fancy. Some eggs, I put a little bit of kimchi on there, 2 pieces of toast. Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not a big morning eater, so this is good for me. If I tried to have more than that, it just probably wouldn't sit right. But let's take a look at what that's gonna be. So if I go on chronometer here, that's what I use to track stuff. Yeah, I put my eggs in, I put the toast, put a little bit of kimchi. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Energy, a little bit hard to read, but that's about 428 calories, 29 grams of protein, about 26 grams of carbs, net carbs, and about 16 grams of fat. And yeah, so pretty decent for not really wanting to eat breakfast. This is pretty good for me. I can get it down and it feels fine. And this is probably what I'll have tomorrow prior to the race, but I'll show you guys that later. All right, lunchtime. One supplement that I forgot, NutriVeg microalgae oil. Take this, and I don't even measure it. I just drink it out of the bottle. So another thing that I'll be taking this morning, again, almost every day, sometimes I forget, is what it is. And then what I'm gonna be doing here for a shake, but something I also take almost every day, I forget sometimes. One supplement that I forgot this morning. So I'll be taking some of that again tomorrow on race day as well. And then what I'm going to be making is my protein shake. So Vivo Life Slim is my protein shake. So Vivo Life salted maca caramel protein. I put a scoop of this in. I put about a tablespoon of creatine. No, the Vivo Life protein is good. You don't need to add any sweetener in with it. But the salted maca, especially when you add that little bit of maple syrup, man, it's something about it. It's a different type of thing. I encourage you to try it. It's a Canadian delicacy. Probably should be our national protein shake. All right, it's just after 5. Just got home from work. So while I was at work, I had a salad, the broccoli slaw that you get in like those packs. I tend to buy that because lately I don't eat all of my meals at home. A lot of the times I'm eating meals at my fiance's house. So when I was getting like veggies and stuff like that, it kept going bad. So anyways, I typically get the like broccoli slaw because it lasts for a long time. It's a good way to get some veggies in. So I made a salad of the broccoli slaw, put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup of walnuts, 1/2 cup of pumpkin seeds, and then a little bit of balsamic vinegar on that. And then I had my protein shake that I showed you this morning of the maca salted caramel Vivo Life plant-based protein, as well as some unsweetened almond milk and about a tablespoon of maple syrup in that. And then I had a Cliff Builder bar. So when we look at how that all comes together, from this morning having the eggs and everything else and all of that kind of stuff, here on chronometer, I added all the rest in. And what we're sitting at right now, let's see if you can see that there. Energy, we're at about 1,500 calories, 1,560. Protein, about 93 grams of protein. Net carbs, about 82.2 grams of net carbs. And then fat, about 89.4 grams of fat. So that's where I'm at so far. Now that I'm home, I'll probably make some dinner, and the priority is going to be around essentially protein and carbs. I'm going to start to try not to get too much more fat in today. I'm going to start to try to get a little bit more protein and a little bit more carbs in there. with the goal being that I have about, we'll see actually if I can get it up that high, but it'd be nice to get around 100 grams each, if not a little bit more. I'll probably be able to get a little bit more. We'll see. I'll have to plug stuff in here and see what it comes out to. But yeah, that's where we're at. Pretty chill day. I only had one client, so I moved around a little bit, but most of it I had like a 3.5 hour meeting in the afternoon. So I was sitting down and working at my desk for a lot of it too, doing some fitness programming stuff for the fall. So mainly just sat around today. So that's why I wanted to get some movement this morning. So if you have an active job, probably don't need to move around the day before a race, but if you don't, good idea to get moving. So now tonight, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have some dinner, and then I'm gonna go through everything that I need for the race, and I'll show you guys that after. For more in-depth on this kind of stuff, make sure you follow Instagram at HealthRx. That's HealthRxD on Instagram. And that's where I'll be posting more and more of this kind of stuff and just more content specifically in the stories. So make sure you follow at HealthRx, follow the stories, that type of stuff. Hopefully my fiance will do some takeovers. She's kind of the other half of HealthRx, and she can do some stuff there and show some different things that she might be doing that I'm not doing. So, yeah, so I'm gonna put in my dinner prior to actually making it into Chronometer first, so I can kind of see how these macros and how the calories are gonna play out, and then I'll show you guys what it ends up being. All right, dinner time. So pre-race day, dinner time. It's not gonna look like the most healthiest thing, but there's a few things I was trying to keep in mind while I was getting this ready. One, I don't wanna have a ton of fiber. I wanna start going more towards high GI carbohydrates or high glycemic index carbohydrates, as in they are carbohydrates that are gonna get into my bloodstream and digest with relative ease. I don't wanna have too much fiber, too much stuff hanging out in my digestive tract or kind of bogging it down at all. So from now up until the race, it'll be higher GI carbohydrates, still some good quality, nutrient dense carbohydrate sources, but some higher, and then also starting to get more so just carbohydrates and proteins. So what we got going on here is I have one everything bagel. They're these organic everything bagels by this, I can't remember what the company is, but they're pretty good. Some plant-based field roast sausage, and then a little bit of cheese, and then a little bit of salsa on top. And then with that, just some kind of light tortilla chips onto the side. And then I have my licorice root tea, some Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, of course, to go along with it. But if we head over to Chronometer here, let's take a look at how that unfolds. So might be a little bit tricky to see, but I'll try my best to get it close. So what we're looking at here is about 24.58, so about just under 2,500 calories, 142 grams of protein, 177 grams of carbohydrates, and about 124 grams of fat. So I typically wouldn't eat that much protein. It usually would be closer to about 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, not closer to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So it's a little bit higher protein than I would kind of traditionally or classically do. But I also eat on a seasonal approach. So just like how my training changes depending on the seasons, because that's kind of what makes sense here, and with obstacle course racing as being kind of the sport. But it just makes sense given where we live out in the Kootenays. In the wintertime, it's harder to spend as much time outside. I'm not as into winter sports as I am into summertime being out and outside. So during the winter, gives a good time to focus on weaknesses and strength and put on a little bit of mass. And then in the spring, start to cut down, lean out, get ready for being outside in the sun, and have more cardiovascular and more power oriented. So more on that another time. But my nutrition also sort of rolls with the seasons. So typically, things wouldn't quite look like this, but it's specific for getting ready for the race. All right, so after dinner, I'll put together, the items that I'm gonna need, and we'll go through that checklist of race day items. And I always recommend get it ready the day beforehand, just in case, so there's not a lot of worrying or thinking in the morning time. You can just grab your stuff, you're ready to roll, and head out and get to the race. All right, so I just got everything ready for the Spartan Race, all of the items. So I'm gonna take you guys through this, show you the essentials and what you might wanna think about bringing for your Spartan Race. So first thing first, and most importantly, you want to bring your barcode, print that out. They have a nice little way online, it shows you how to find these. And I always print out 2, so I have extras of each of ours. So you always wanna make sure you have those. And then with that, you wanna make sure you have cash money. You wanna have actual cash, $5, $10, 20s, for your payment for parking, as well as for bag check and stuff like that. So you wanna make sure you have actual physical cash, because a lot of them it's cash only. Other thing I always like to bring is a little bit of chalk, and that's gonna go into my hydration pack. So hydration pack that I'm using here, and then I'm gonna fill up the bladder, put that in there. We're just doing the sprint, and it's not gonna be as hot as last year, so it won't need as much water, but I just like to have it on with me. And I've been training a little bit with this on, so I'm comfortable with it. I know how it feels. So chalk is gonna go into the hydration pack, and that's just for grip in case things get slippery or wet or anything like that, just to help with the hands in case they get sweaty and grip starts to go. So we got chalk, hydration pack, got the bladder here, got some race shorts, so spandexy. I gotta wear the stretchy shorts, come on now. So spandexy, got my race shorts, got some socks, and again, you wanna get socks that are athletic type of socks that aren't gonna hold on to water or mud or dirt or anything like that. Got an extra pair just in case Chantal wants a pair, and then extra socks for after. And then I also brought some race pants as well as some extra clothes for afterwards, because you're not gonna wanna hang out in the clothes that you had on, you're gonna wanna change. And just depending on weather, I brought some pants and stuff as well, just in case whether it's been a bit of a different year this year around here. So might be wet, might be a little bit colder. In case I wanna throw some of those pants on, I can throw my race pants on instead of the shorts. Gonna be rocking the Xero shoes. All right, so these are decent quality tread, pretty good bend to them. They have the ventilation in there so that it'll drain water if there happens to be any water. They probably will be relatively cool on the feet. Last year, I wore Vibram 5 Fingers, which I like to wear. I feel super light, I feel fast with them, but it's not great for traction on the ground. Some areas were a little bit slick. So I think the tread on these will be better. Still not as much as like an Ultra or like a trail running shoe, but I think it'll be a good happy medium. I got the GoPro head mount. I'm gonna do some filming, and that way you guys can actually see what's going on. Extra battery for the GoPro. I got my Rode mic and another mount, and this is actually gonna be for my phone, so for using Instagram and taking some videos with my phone prior to the event. I'm gonna be wearing my Garmin during it, and that's just because I wanna track and see how it goes and rock that. A towel for afterwards. I wanna bring a towel so I can clean myself off before I change, in case I get mucky or dirty or whatever it might be. And that's pretty much it. The other thing is like my GoPro. You wanna make sure that you read your athlete guide. You wanna give that a solid read through. You wanna check out the map of the race. You can print those out. Those will get emailed to you if you've registered for the event. And with the GoPro, you wanna put your name and phone number on it, because if it falls off or if I happen to drop it on the race, it's the only way it's gonna make it back to me. So I make sure I put my name and my phone number on the GoPro. And then otherwise, it's just kind of getting nutrition together. I might bring a band or a couple things just for warm up for the race, but otherwise, it's pretty much it. What you're gonna race in, extra pairs of socks, hydration pack if you're gonna wear one. Some people wear gloves. I think chalk will probably be good for me. GoPro video stuff if you wanna do that. You wanna make sure you have cash. You wanna make sure you've printed out your registration forms and bring photo ID. You wanna make sure you have photo ID with you at the registration table. You want some variety of clothing so that if you happen to have to change or depending on what weather's doing, you're ready and prepared for that. Make sure it's something comfortable. I know a lot of people don't want to wear like spandexy type of stuff or stuff close to their body, but you know what, last thing you want is like to get snagged on the barbed wire where you're doing the army crawl or hopping over one of the walls and you're getting caught on stuff. So suck it up. If you don't like wearing spandex, whatever, man, I think it's worth it because it's gonna protect your body and it's gonna help you get through the race without snagging on anything like that. If you don't like the how it feels, especially for dudes, on like the exposure that can come from that. A company like Virus, it's a thicker material, so it's not as showy as most kind of spandexy stuff would be. All right, I can't think of anything else. That's it. So that's the pre-race stuff. You guys got to see a bit of my nutrition, a bit of the day, some movement in the morning. Those are the things that I want to make sure I bring and have with me. Other than that, it's just making sure you know where the event is. I was there last year. I know how to get there. But you don't want any surprises. You want to get there early. You want to make sure you have everything figured out. Know what you're going to wear. Know what your shoes you're going to wear. Have everything figured out the night before, preferably. So that tomorrow morning, I can just worry about my nutrition, get my supplements on point, do a little bit of mobility. I'm gonna go up to Cranbrook early, just to, you know, hang out, get a chance to do a little bit of shopping, whatever it might be. So that way I can get to the event early. I don't wanna have to be, rushed at all. I wanna make sure I get there with plenty of time to just kind of hang out, get settled, get my gear checked, you know, get comfortable with the setting. So I think that's it. Next time is gonna be race day. So we're gonna end this one here. Next video, we're gonna look at actual race day. I'm gonna take you guys along. Like I said, head mount, you're gonna get first person perspective of the Kimberley Spartan Race. See you guys there.
Throughout the week, we've seen lots of bears and lots of deer and lots of everything. There's all kinds of wildlife out there. There are a couple of bears that are like close to the course, so keep an eye. I mean, obviously we had them near the course last year too. Nobody got eaten. I'm hoping that's the case this year.
I've been saved by the face of man. I try to display. Oh, I've been placed in the hands of a world I don't want to stay. Oh, what I make is a trait that my veins are the keys to the kingdom. Living like a symptom. Being gone a while, but the boy on pilgrim. Now we on full flex. Got some new projects. He holding more than just 3 objects. Count on new songs in the forecast. What a contrast to what the boy in last. Woo!